Cleopatra is one of the most famous women in history. But was she really as intelligent and beautiful as history says? Today's video is about her.
The name Cleopatra is a very important name in world history. Cleopatra's name is as famous all over the world as Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth in recent times. Indeed, Cleopatra's name is still remembered even after 2000 years. But do you know that her grave is hidden from the world? The last phase of her life was quite chaotic. The information about her death is contradictory to each other. So, who really is Cleopatra? Cleopatra is the last queen of Egypt. According to the archaeologists, she is Cleopatra VII Philopator. She was known by Egyptians as daughter of Ra, who was known as the sun god. Cleopatra was born in Alexandria in 69 BC. She was the daughter of King Ptolemy XII, who was ruling Egypt at that time. However, no clear idea is found about her mother. Many believe that Cleopatra V Tryphaena, a queen of King Ptolemy XII, could be her mother. She is not of Egyptian origin, even though she works as the ruler of Egypt. King Alexander the Great, who became a powerful king of Macedonia, which is close to Egypt, conquers Egypt. Then he dies. After his death, the kingdoms were shared by the chief generals. So this Egypt is entrusted to the first Ptolemy. Before Alexander, this Egypt was ruled by the pharaohs. But after his rule, Ptolemy, who owns this, starts a new dynasty called Ptolemy. The last ruler of this dynasty was Cleopatra. Also, these Ptolemaic clans made marriages between brothers and sisters to prevent the state inheritance from leaving. After the death of her father, Ptolemy XII, in 51 BC, Cleopatra married her brother Ptolemy XXX according to their tradition. These two became co-rulers of Egypt at that time. At that time, Cleopatra was 18 years old and her brother was 10 years old. However, before too long, Cleopatra loses her powers. It is believed that there was a power struggle between Cleopatra and Ptolemy, where Ptolemy's advisors are believed to have succeeded in removing Cleopatra from power. Thus, Cleopatra goes to Syria in 49 BC. While in Syria, she managed to gather a mercenary army to seize power in Egypt. Cleopatra returned Egypt in 48 BC with the same army. At the same time, Pompey was fighting with Julius Caesar for the control of Rome. Defeated Pompey returns to Egypt but is killed there. Ptolemy thereby hoped to square Caesar's support. Meanwhile, Cleopatra hoped to get Caesar's support. It is said that Caesar expressed his displeasure about killing Pompey even though he was his rival. Therefore, Caesar did not have good intention towards Ptolemy. Cleopatra was active during this period. According to the historian Plutarch in his book Life of Caesar about the life of Julius Caesar, there were Ptolemy's military guards around the palace where Caesar stays. After passing them, Cleopatra entered the palace, hiding in a large carpet that was carried by Apollodorus of Sicily. Some sources make no mention of a sack and simply state she went to Caesar without telling her brother. After that, Caesar decided to support the intelligent Cleopatra instead of Ptolemy, who had already gained his displeasure. He had to fight to protect her right to rule. Caesar's Roman forces were unable to defeat Ptolemy's forces until reinforcement arrived. But with the arrival of additional forces, Ptolemy's forces were defeated. Ptolemy, fleeing from the capital Alexandria, is suspected to have drowned in the Nile. Cleopatra became queen of Egypt again. Her other younger brother, Ptolemy XIV, who was 13, was named co-ruler with her. Caesar stayed in Egypt with the Cleopatra for a while. Meanwhile, in 47 BC, Cleopatra gave birth to a son named Ptolemy Caesar. The child was known as Caesarion or Little Caesar and was believed to be Caesar's child. At that time, Cleopatra was 21 years old and Caesar was 52 years old. However, Cleopatra was not a very popular leader at that time. Egypt's economic situation had declined due to the decrease in food production due to the irregular flow of the Nile River. Is Cleopatra a repository of knowledge? Yes, although there are no contemporary reports about her, according to many reports written later, she was an intelligent woman. At the age of 21, Cleopatra had the ability to command several military units, and she was a woman who could handle 9 languages such as Greek, Egyptian, Ethiopian, Aramaic, Syriac, Median, Parthian, Arabic, Troglodyte language. Among the Ptolemaic rulers who was ruled Egypt, she was the only leader who could speak the Egyptian language. Also, Cleopatra was someone who had special knowledge about politics, academic philosophy, alchemy, religion, astronomy, economics, mathematics, and military tactics. At the age of 21, she has the ability to command military units, probably because of her special knowledge of military tactics. She must have been associated with the famous library of Alexandria since her childhood. That may be the reason for her knowledge. At that time, Alexandria was a place where philosophers and scientists abounded. She must have had their association since childhood. She was a person who paid more attention to chemicals, especially about chemical use in cosmetics. Several books written by her were kept in the Library of Alexandria, but they were destroyed in a fire there. This famous Egyptian queen was also interested in herbal remedies. Thanks to her knowledge of languages, she was also able to read many papyrus documents. Is Cleopatra's beauty imaginary? Was she really as beautiful and glamorous as she was famous out of peak? Historian Plutarch claims that her beauty was not incomparable, but the attraction of her conversation was something bewitching. And she was described by the Roman historian Cassius Dio as a woman of surpassing beauty. A small coin in the collection of the Society of Antiquaries, Newcastle in February 2007 is sufficient to give us a rough idea for her image. It depicts her with a prominent nose, sloping forehead, sharply pointed chin, and thin lips and hollow eye sockets. However, as soon as Cleopatra is mentioned, an image of a woman full of image nature comes to our minds. According to ancient legends, it is stated that Cleopatra took great care to make her figure beautiful. One of the methods she adopted was to bath in the milk of about 700 asses or goats. This may seem like a funny story. However, it is no secret that ancient women bathed in ass milk to maintain their youthful appearance. There is an opinion that the wife of Emperor Nero was also a woman who bathed in ass milk daily. Research has confirmed that ass milk has nutrients as cow milk.
In the next video, we will bring information about the tragic love story of Cleopatra and the end of the dynasty of pharaohs.